Hello everyone, welcome back to another deck profile here on the channel. I know it's been a while, life's been a bit busy and stuff, but we should be back at it. I've got nothing preoccupying my time right now, so we should be back to the deck profiles and hot stuff coming up. Like I say, life's just been a bit hectic with some last minute things getting dropped on me, so I'd give them more attention and stuff. But I'm here today with Zephagamon. I thought I'd give a bit of an updated deck profile. It hasn't honestly changed too much since our last one. There's now a few new pieces I'm playing because I've managed to test them and I'm really liking them. But at the very end as well, I'll go over some other things that you could maybe do about the deck to change it as well, to maybe make it a bit more competitive. As this build, it's a play on a friend of ours, a friend of the channel, Shiro, made a joke about how hitting my security is like walking into tall grass in Pokemon. Which, because constantly with the very little stuff I had, there was always something you would hit in security and then I had a Digimon on board. So I really decided to play into that, as well as keep into what the deck wants to do. So that's kind of the idea of this deck. And like I said, at the very end, I'll go over some cards you can put in to make it a bit more competitive, what you could maybe take out, and change all that stuff. Some of it obviously is personal choice, but we'll get to all that stuff at the end. But without further ado, let's get started with the deck profile. Starting with our eggs, I'm playing 4 EX10 Fluffymon. I do like the memory gain when you delete an opponent's Digimon in battle. It's not all turns, it's just your turn. I'm hoping when EX11 comes around, which by the way, when we get to EX11, there'll be a new profile on this with all the new cards. I'm hoping the new egg's going to be draw, and it's going to be something very easy to trigger, a bit generic for the deck. As there is a few draw eggs right now, but I always find when testing those that if you've got the one like when your opponent has Digimon suspends, draw a card, then your opponent never has Digimon. When your Digimon suspends, draw a card by an effect, you're triggering it once and then it's maybe gone. There's 2 other ones as well. And it always just feels like there's so many times where it's like, yes, this can trigger, but it just doesn't feel that optimal. That being said, though, I'd still go back and test them back and forth, but we'll get more into them at the end. But we play 4 of this Fluffymon. On to rookies, I'm playing 4 structure deck Terramons. So search power, it's insane. On play, look at the top 3, add a Bird or Avion and a Liberator card. That could be your Tamers, your option cards if you're running with any with Liberator traits. Just grab 2 Digimon. Overall, very nice for the deck. Generally, what I'd like to do is, preferably if I've got this in my opening hand, I like to play it and my next turn swing with it for a bit of chip damage. And kind of generally hope it maybe will die to the security check. If it doesn't, amazing, it lives, it'll do another one. But I generally want it dead before they're hitting my security, as if they hit my security and they hit one of the many things that can spawn out of Digimon, I'd rather have this in trash to replay it to get its search. Inheritable plus 2000s in your turn is also very nice as a last minute ditch in case you need the Digimon back with it. Next, I'm playing 3 EX7 Terramons. So the inheritable all turns when you delete your Digimon in battle, gain a memory, very nice, very good. But also your turn when you would Digivolve, reduce the cost by 1, making things overall very cheaper. It's how a lot of decks are going these days, and it's one of the few things that kind of needs to keep itself going. But like in today's day, it's not like how it used to be for many sets ago. You kind of need cheap Digivolution costs as much as possible in order to have a chance in today's meta. The reason I didn't max out on it, by the way, is just trying to min-maxing space in the deck. For our final rookie, I'm playing 3 BT14 Palmons. So this is a card I've wanted to test for ages. I've never managed to get my hands on them. These are currently a lend off a friend. So I still don't even own them yet. But in my testing of it, in 1 day worth of testing, this has shown its value for the deck to me. It's shown its place for the deck. So it's got first of all, its inheritable is really good when combined with our champion. So when you would Digivolve, if you have a Tamer, reduce the Digivolution by 1. That's a once per turn your turn effect. But its main effect, it can be abused so much in this. So you can give one of your opponent's Digimon. When that Digimon becomes suspended, they lose 2 memory, and they get that until the end of their turn, and it's not a once per turn. In my testing of this, I was triggering this effect 2 times on a singular Digimon, before I was getting rid of it. And there was the rare scenario where I got to trigger it 3 times on a singular Digimon, all while it was my turn and I was just manipulating it with Zephagamons, just going, alright, I'm going to unsuspend it, I'm going to resuspend it for this, because it was like overall it's making costs cheaper and cheaper. But it is proven its worth, and if the body ever lived, then it's still got that effect, so if they declare an attack, they were going to be losing 2 memory.
Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, that way you never miss a thing.
On to our level 4s. We're playing 4 promo Galemons. This is probably the best level 4 in the entire deck, especially when you combine it with the Palmon. So, like, you'll cost 2 Digivolve with the Palmon for this. Suspend the body you've put the Palmon effect on. Then you will Digivolve for a reduced cost of 1, because you've got because there's one of a suspended body. But then the Palmon will let you Digivolve by a further reduce of 1, so it's actually for the cost of 1. And then once you've resolved all that, you'll get the 2 memory back that you used to Digivolve into this. So it's absolutely crazy. On play as well to suspend, and if it's your turn, then you can Digivolve. Does come up, thanks to some other cards in the deck, especially because play cost is 4. Just generally on play on your turn comes up as well. Sometimes I've used it just I've had to, like, I just don't have a rookie, or I've got to set up a quick Grand Girl. Overall, very nice card for the deck. I find it hard to ever see this going less than 4. Next, I only choose to play 2 EX7 Galemons. A lot of lists will play this at 3. I personally like it at 2. But it's got the when Digivolving, if you've got one of your Tamers, you may play a Shoto. All your Tamers are Shoto. So that's nice. It doesn't always get to trigger though, and I think 2 is just fine. The memory gain heritable also is very nice. I'd never feel like I'm needing it though, personally. But it's there if you do, and that's where I find its value. It's one of those cards where, like, as much as its value doesn't show up every game for me, I know its value when it does come up means the difference in the game. So, reason we still run it as a 2 of. Next, I run 3 Structure Deck Galemons. So, I like the security effect, but not only that. So, the security is kind of a bit of a bonus, but I do like the security effect. So, if this is hit, we can play out the promo Galemon to suspend something, we can play out our Tamers, we can play out our Searchers. One of our many things of just like security becomes that additional way of extending, if it happens to be in there. If not, it is one of the few Galemons that doesn't feel that bad to just Digivolve into the back with, in case like they're not providing you a body for a big turn play or something. You can, maybe they've left you on 1. This is a nice way to leave them back on 1, just Digivolve in the back. Overall, it serves, that's the main purpose of it. Also 6,000 DP, so if you did get 1 Ruin mode, at least you can still raise on a 1,000 body and then do your plays and go to a Grand Gale and probably become unaffected to the Ruin mode. Overall, I feel like it's a very nice card. It is very underrated, I feel, in the Zephagamon community. I don't think it's a card that should be slept on. On to our level 5s. I play 4 EX7 Grand Galemons, so this is probably going to always be a 4 of, unless, like I say, EX7 gives us something crazy. Sorry, EX11. But it's got Vortex on it, which is very nice. When Digivolving, you may suspend a Digimon. Doesn't have to be yours, but if you do choose one of yours, then this line will get immunity to Digimon effects of your opponents until the end of their turn. So it's a nice way of like protecting the line, protecting it, and so that way you can maybe threaten a nice play. Inheritable, when this Digimon attacks an opponent's Digimon, you may unsuspend. Get yourself some extra checks in. If you manage to manipulate the memory in a certain way, you can go end a turn to get your Shoto to give your line piercing, pierce over a line, get the memory back, and then swing over the other little things with piercing still there. Overall, very nice card. It's going to be very hard to replace, and I don't think it will be getting replaced anytime soon. Next, I play 2 Structure Deck Grand Girls. This is probably the easiest replacement in the deck when it comes to level 5s. He's in there because he's a Bird Avion, he's a Liberator, and it's just to see that name more often. On play, when Digivolving, suspend a Digimon. If you spend one of yours, you may play a Digimon from your hand that is a Bird or Avion that is 3,000 DP or less. So it's nice to extend your board overall, Not always needed, I feel. Inheritable, though, is exactly the same as the other one. If you're attacking opponent's Digimon, you can unsuspend. Again, this is probably going to be easily cut for whatever the new Grand Gale is going to be. If it's anything like the level 5s we've been getting for the other Liberator decks, it's probably going to be immediate cut. And lastly, to finish off my level 5s, I'm playing one of Parrotmon. So it's got the on-play when Digivolving, suspend an opponent's Digimon, so we can suspend their board down more. It's got the inheritable, if we delete an opponent's Digimon in battle, we may unsuspend, which is nice. But it's also got security to play itself out. Again, just kind of playing to this whole idea. It's a bird, so we can search it. It's not a problem. It's level 5, it fits with the deck pretty well. Setting up that as Vortex play for you. Like I say, with the whole idea, I'm going forward the deck. If it gets hit in security, it'll play itself out, suspend another body. And now that's a level 5 that I potentially ace over, which is threatening in itself. So, very nice choice. On to our level 6s, I'm playing 3 structure deck Zephagamons. I do feel like this is the best level 6 in the deck outside the ace. So if you, first of all, when Digimon, you may suspend one Digimon on the board, and then you may unsuspend one Digimon on the board. It's got Vortex, so end of turn, attacking a Digimon, even if it's played this turn. And all turns, when a Digimon becomes unsuspended, it'll gain plus 3,000 and immunity to Digimon effects until the end of the turn. So if you can play the game right, and especially with the Tamers and stuff we have now, you can potentially make this immune indefinitely. If you leave them a body and keep suspending it down and let them unsuspend during their turn, and then in your turn you only got to worry about how you're going to unsuspend something. I've done this a few times where it's been a matter of, okay, I'm going to suspend that down, swing into security or whatever, or swing into them, use my Shoto to swap the target to security. And then from there, it's been like, right, okay, it's your turn. I'm not killing it. And then I'll spend like, right, trigger my effect, get my plus 3,000, get my immune to Digimon effects for the turn, and just kind of have that big threat on board. It is a bit like you do have to play the game right and not just rush, not swing at a target just because you can, as that is a very easy way to just run out of it all. Next, I am playing 2 EX10 Zephagamons. With the way the meta is at the moment, it is kind of aggressive, and I do feel like we need to match that aggression a little bit, so the +1 security is what it's there for. Its over effect is a nice way of board clearing as well, if need be. The cost of 4 Digivolve is pretty big, and most of the times I'm finding that I'm coming in suspended and I'm not able to swing with it. Unless I would have played, like, you could have like your Shotos and stuff ready to go, or maybe even over the Parrotmon. But it does have its purpose. It's not the one I go into all the time. 2 of is nice in the deck, so if I need it, I can grab it. If not, I don't have to worry about it. But I do feel like the extra aggression is needed these days, especially if you're against the OTK decks that know how to play around Zephagamon. They won't leave you a body, and at that point it's just like, okay, I can't do multiple checks with my usual lines now. I have to get multiple checks in other ways, and this is one of the ways to do that, where it's like, I've had so many games where before I put this in, and I was on the structure deck Zephagamon, and I've got my opponent down to 1 security slowly, and then afterwards they'll come out, absolutely annihilate my security and kill me. Where if I was on this Zephaga at the time, I would have probably won the game because I would have got through that security quicker, gotten to 0, and got the hit for game. So it is needed, I feel like, in today's meta. I'm not a humongous fan of it. I'm hoping EX11 brings us something a bit better, but we'll have to wait and see. Next, I'm playing 2 Medieval Gallantmons. They fit so well in the deck. They have Vortex Warrior, so we can search them. They have also green. The overall Floodgate effect of them is very nice. The playing them is nice, but we can abuse it in so many more ways. It's overall a very nice piece of the deck to like floodgate certain decks from being able to play. It can turn off scrambles and stuff. Some decks where they have the mandatory maybe play out token, you can be like, right, well, because that's played now, I can now do something. And being able to also trigger it in your turn. Going into this under a Grand Guild protection is also scary for your opponent because, like, that's a medieval they can't just easily out. Worst case scenario, if it looks like they're about to out it as well, you can ace over it. Same with all of our level 6s. Medieval is just medieval. And finally, I'm playing 2 Zephagamon aces. So again, the ace play is very nice. The all turns when a Digimon suspends, this Digimon may unsuspend effect is very good. Piercing, blocker, vortex, all the keywords. So you don't have to worry about your Shotos. On play, when Digimon, you may suspend 1 Digimon. And then for every 2 suspended Digimon in the field, you may bottom deck one of your opponent's suspended Digimon. So it's a nice way of maybe board clearing. It's got 13,000 DP compared to a lot of the deck where it's 11. So you get your Structure X Zephagamon effect to get plus 3,000 and immune to Digimon effects. Ace over into this. This is now a 16k blocker. If you need to go that route, it's overall very nice. It's something I cut down for the EX7. On to our Tamers. I'm playing 3 EX7 Shotos. I'm not playing Zephagamon because, again, trying to min-max slots in the deck. Overall, 3 is the bare minimal I think you can go to with this card, though, at the moment. So, start of main, if your opponent has a Digimon, you'll gain a memory. And then end of turn, by suspending this Tamer, you can give one of your Digimon piercing and blocker. But if it happens to be a Vortex Warrior, it'll also unsuspend. Overall, one of the very key pieces of the deck. It is like the #1 Tamer you want to see. Again, if it wasn't for min-maxing, I'd probably play this as a 4-of. Next, I'm running 2 BT20 Shotos. So this is a card where you can abuse this if you play it alright with Palmon. So you can do the whole Palmon stuff, and like say you've suspended it with the promo Galemon. When you get up to Zephagamon, you can use Zephagamon to unsuspend their line that you've put the Palmon effect on. You can then use this end of turn effect to suspend it, to suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, to then also give one of your Vortex Warriors plus 2,000 till the end of your turn. So you can unsuspend with the Zephaga to then use this to resuspend it to then get 2 memory again. Overall, it's very nice and it's very abusable. I do like it. Start of main, you may bottom deck this Tamer and play a Shoto from hand. Then, if you've got no Digimon on board, you can play a Bird or Avion level 3 from your trash to the field. So it's kind of like a pseudo scramble card. Overall, very nice. I can never see it going less than a 2. Like, 2 feels like the perfect number. Like, 1 doesn't feel like enough. 3 feels like too many. So 2 is just where it's probably going to stay. Next, I run 2 Structured X Shotos for the idea of redirection. It's a memory setter, which is nice, but then we can also use this to help close out a game where we just go, okay, cool. I have everything set up to get my extra swing, but it has to be a Vortex into you. I can't get a swing for game. Play this down. It's like, right, Shoto, unsuspend my Vortex line, Vortex into you, use this, swap target to you, GG. This has happened so many times, and the look on people's faces sometimes when they don't realize that's what you can do with this, and it's just like, yeah, I'm gonna swap the target to you. It's like, so you're attacking my no, I've swapped it to you. I'm hitting for game, and it's just like, okay. This can also bypass stuff like Venusmon. So because Venusmon has the effect of it can't be attacked, while this says this you're redirecting the attack. You're not attacking. You haven't declared the attack on it, so it bypasses those like effects. Very nice. Potential could maybe see it drop down to 1, maybe even 0, depending on what new Shoto does. On to option cards, I'm playing 3 green memory boosts. I have always preferred more memory boosts than trainings, especially for the ratios of the deck that I run at. It just helps me see pieces a bit more consistently. I do run 2 trainings. You could probably swap these round, which is what a lot of decks do, honestly. They play 3 trainings, 2 boosts. So you could easily swap these and swap them round, but I do prefer triple boost over triple training. I'm also running 2 green scrambles. This is a deck I feel like you do want to play scramble as a 2-of rather than a 1-of, as again we can abuse the Vortex, so having it played that turn is not that bad overall. Again, though, it's also playing to the whole idea of if they hit a scramble in security, I can play out a level 3, and then be like, cool, at that point I can do some more searching. If I know they have no removal or got no way to like cheap removal, essentially, I can maybe play out a Palmon to threaten like, okay, that Digimon's going to lose 2 memory, and if I've got a Palmon in the back to race, I can be like, well, you're going to be losing 4 memory every time. Overall, very nice. Like I say, I think 2 is very good spot for the deck. And our last option card I'm running is a Vortex Resonator. This is very much a flex spot in the deck you could do very easily. There's many cards you could run here. I choose to run this because the security effect, it lets us play something out. We can ignore color requirements if we have a Liberator on board. It is green, so we can grab it with training. But it's also its main effective. Like if I'm going to Digivolve to the Structure Deck Zephaga or Medieval, it's going to cost 3 regardless, so why don't I get a Digivolve and a Search? If I'm going to Digivolve to the EX10 Zephaga, why don't I make it 1 cheaper? So when you play this, you reveal top 3 of your deck and add a Liberator trait card amongst them to your hand, and then one of your Digimon may Digivolve with the cost reduced by 4. Again, it's very much a flex spot. It's probably something that's going to come out when we get the emblems and stuff for the deck. So let's talk about some cards that you could run over certain other ones. So let's start with the eggs. You could run a Gummimon, so this has got the inheritable of when attacking, if you're a green tamer, draw 1. I feel like the next best egg that you could run, I don't have it to show sadly, is the when one of your Digimon becomes suspended by an effect, draw a card. If you didn't want to run Fluffymon. I feel like they're the only other 2 eggs that are good right now, which is why I'm hoping we get a new Fluffymon that kind of gives us something a bit more, even if it's just a simple one attack, like something that doesn't have a condition tied to, like an extreme condition tied to it, that lets you draw. So even if it's something like when attacking, if you're a bird or avian, draw a card. I'm hoping for the overall. Level 3 options. You've got the promo Terramon, on play, suspend an opponent's Digimon. So this is something that if you don't feel like you've got enough suspend power, I played this for a long time. I recently took 2 of these out on the next card for the Palmons. Inheritable is 2 plus 2000, so worst case now you can Digimon on the back with it. Overall, that never felt good though, and I always found myself wanting to hold on to these in case like a Galemon was hitting security, or in case I ever need a situation where it's like, I have no easy way to suspend right now. Cost of 3 Terramon, suspend. And then I found myself not really using them that much. The Palmon's been a nice replacement for me, but it is an option you can run. Another rookie is a Muchomon. I played this as a one-off purely for the inheritable of Piercing, in case you've never seen the Shoto. So it is an option there. It's the all turns effect. If this Digimon becomes suspended by an effect, one of your Vortex Warrior Digimon gets plus 3000 DP into the end of your opponent's turn. So it can maybe help. You can spend, like, you've got a lot of ways to suspend it, but mostly I was playing it for the inheritable Piercing, and even then it was at a one-off. Level 4s. A lot of people seem to run the other promo Galemon, the when Digivolving by suspending 1 Digimon. This Digimon gets plus 2000 DP for to the end of your opponent's turn, and then if you have a Shoto, it also gets Piercing. Just while it is this Galemon though, that's a your turn effect, inheritable plus 2000. People are typically playing the EX7 Galemon as a free of, and then what would be the structure deck Galemon in my list, that'd be a 2 of, and it'd be 2 of these. I don't feel the need for it personally. You can though, so it is an option. Now we're getting into some cards that is a bit more of an easier call to replace, so into level 5s. You can run Argamon. I ran this for a bit, helps widen your board, so 0 to Digivolve into thanks to Digizorb. With the new promo Galemon though, I didn't feel like this was needed as much anymore. It does have the when attacking, you may play 1 green level 3 from your hand suspended without paying its memory cost. So like I say, it helps with go wide boards. It is a very nice choice if you choose to. In my list, I'd replace the Pirate Mon if I was running this, since it is limited to 1. The other level 5, which is probably an easier bet for more competitive version of the deck, is Rapid Mons. I think if I was to put this in my list, which is something I'm willing to test, I might replace my 2 Structure Deck Galemons for 2 Rapid Mons, and then still keep the Parrot Mon. So that way I've got 5 birds or avians I can search out for my level 5s and have 2 Rapids. So it will cost 4 to Digivolve into, so it's not cheap. and it was got an on-play and when digivolving, de-digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. Then if you have a green Tamer, this Digimon can't be deleted by your opponent's Digimon effect, by your opponent's effects, and it can't be bounced to hand or deck. Overall, another nice form of protection. It's not an overall one, but it's a nice one that can do the job. Make things a little awkward. Inheritable all turns as once per turn. If this Digimon deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle, you trash your opponent's top security card. I do think D-Digivolve is very strong, especially if you're going to go on the puppet matchup, which is why it's something I probably may end up putting in, because there is a few of my friends that are playing puppets. When it comes to level 6s, the only thing I can really suggest, you could maybe bump your ace count up by 1. I did like playing 3 aces, and I still would easily go up to 3, no problem. If EX10 ever finds it's not needing anymore, that's why I dropped for this, as well as giving space for a level 7. I'll go into level 7 options in a moment, but that's the only thing I can really suggest for level 6s. Maybe get your ace, maybe bump the ace count up by 1. On to level 7s, I feel like there's only 2 real good options to pick from, which is Valderam being one of them. Just the when digivolving, you're going to gain 1 2 memory back, depends if you've aced or not. So spend down 1 or 2 things, and then the entire board can't unsuspend, and they can't activate on play, so it's an overall floodgate to kind of potentially close out the game, plus 1 security attack, so it's going to swing for 2 checks. So this deck, if it plays level 7s, it's typically playing 1 level 7 at the moment. EX11 will probably change that when we get our level 7, if we do. But yeah, that is one of the potentials. The other one I would say would be Paladin Mode Ace. This is a lot more if the purple is big in the format, I would say, though. Just being able to go Paladin Mode and still have it be a blocker when you ace, so it's still kind of doing some form of threatening. But it's the big thing against purple of on play when digivolving. Trash all your opponent's sources, Digivolution sources, then bottom deck either your trash or their trash, and if there was a white level 7 amongst one of the trash you bottom decked, you can gain free memory. When attacking, bottom deck one of your opponent's Digimon with no sources to let it unsuspend so it can attack again, and that's not once per turn, so you can just keep attacking. But yeah, like I say, I think this is a lot more for a purple heavy format. The Valderam is more generic. Now there is the option of Quartzmon, I will say, but I don't feel like it is good as Valderam, as it's got a very niche thing with the Grand Gale of attack at a Digimon, unsuspend, trash and security, attack again, because its effect's not once per turn. Valderam I do feel is better. When it comes to Tamers, the only other thing I can say right now is the Promo Shoto. So it's got the on-play, you may play a Terramon from your hand without paying its cost, and your turn, when any of your Digimon will digivolve into a bird or Avion, you can suspend this Tamer to reduce the cost by 1. It is an option to play if you wish. Right now, I don't think it has a spot. It probably will maybe see it get played once we get the emblem as come into as rotation. We'll see. But there's not really many other Tamers I can suggest for the deck. As for options, there's nothing really, because you have to go to play your boosts, your trainings, and your scrambles, and then the rest of the deck's taking up the rest of its space. So there's not really many rooms to kind of play around in your options with like little tech pieces, as I feel personally anyway. There's maybe like HBD or something. But yeah.
Hey guys, post recording Lumus here. So I know in the video I just mentioned about like there's no really other option cards, but I feel like it should at least very least bring these up to mention. It's up to you if you run them. So for options, there is the Zephaga's own one, Amiro Embrace, or something like that's called. I'm dyslexic, so reading's not my strong suit, and pronouncing is going to be terrible. Cost of 5. Suspend 1 Digimon, and if its effects suspend one of yours, you return one of your opponent's suspended to the bottom of the deck, then you unsuspend one of yours. Its security effect is return one of your opponent's suspended to the bottom of the deck. This seems nice on paper. I don't personally like it. Its security effect, most of the time you're going to be bottom decking the already attacked thing. Unless they're attacking with Lions into the first check. Like suspend to unsuspend type stuff, and it's a very fuzzy thing. In the same breath, I feel the same way about Giant Missile is it a card? It does cost too much, is why I don't personally like it, but I feel like I should mention it. Suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, and then return one of their suspended Digimon to the bottom of the deck, and then one of their Digimon can't unsuspend until the end of their turn. And its security effect is just activate the main effect. It does cost 8 though. It is something I should, like I say, I should bring up just so you've got the option there. As for some other techs, we do have the potential to run the last 0-cost memory gainer in the game, being Tropical Venom. So no security effect, cost 0 to use, and main is one of your opponent's Digimon gains on deletion, they will lose 2 memory until the end of their turn. Now we can just stack these and use them on whatever we plan to vortex into to get rid of, if we can kind of guarantee it, and just get a bunch of free memory back that way. It is an option, and there are some builds that kind of do focus around it for the abuse that we can give to this card. Under a similar breath of abusing memory and stuff, especially with the likes of Palmon for option cards, it's not something I would personally run, but I may as well mention it. There is also Poison Ivy, kind of works similar. You will spend 1 to gain 1 to essentially go +1 on memory. So main one of your opponent's Digimon gets all turns. When this Digimon becomes suspended, lose 2 memory until the end of their turn. Security effect is activate the main and put it into hand. So again, you can kind of, in a similar vein to what you would do with Tropical Venom, stack multiple of these on a singular Digimon and then start suspending it to gain all that memory back. So for every 1 you spend, you'll get 2, so you're going +1 for every 1 you use, essentially. It is an option, and under the same breath, there's also Poison Powder, which costs 3 to use, but if you have a green Tamer, it will actually cost 2. And main is all of your opponent's Digimon gets the all turns effect, but they'll lose 1 memory instead of 2, and the security effect is activate the main effect. So better for maybe a go wide board and a single use. Kind of work hand in hand, so it's why it's worth kind of mentioning. But again, I don't personally see, of all the option cards I've mentioned, I see the biggest one that you could possibly use being Tropical Venom, personally. But I feel like I should add that in as a little post-edit thing. Back to the video.
That's all the tech choices I can give to, like, maybe where you could change the deck in other ways. So this has been my Zephagamon deck profile. We'll probably do another one when EX11 gets here. We'll see. But like I say, it's not changed that much, but it has been a while since we put it up on the channel. I hope you've all really enjoyed it. I'll see you all in 2 weeks for the next deck profile, and until then, adios all. Goodbye for now.